Oh my gosh, I had another question.
Mm.
So when I was growing up, they always told us that like Muslim countries, they don't have rights and whatever.
Yeah.
Not saying that's true. I'm just saying this
Yeah,
is what
sure.
we're told.
Mm.
And then I interviewed someone that was from Saudi Arabia, and that was, the one place that they always told me
Hmm.
like women can't drive there.
Is that what you advocate?
Well, I mean, now I'm like, well, I mean, I know someone whose wife is paralyzed because of a woman driving. So,
Oh, so are you for that or against that?
No. I make jokes. But
Oh, okay.
No, women should be able to drive if they're good drivers. But I do know that we cause more accidents based on how much we drive. Men cause more, but they drive more. Like you have truckers and stuff.
Sure. So,
anyways. So
I find that interesting. I thought you'd take the pro-Saudi position.
No, it was more like I kind of understand where they're coming from.
Sure.
but anyways,
but
don't quote me on that.
But the women vote, though. I think, even though the elections
most places women vote, right? I mean,
yeah.
Anyways,
go on.
Why is there a conception that women don't have rights in Muslim countries, and is there any truth to it?
Well, look, I mean, let me tell you something, Pearly, right? If you had a manifesto of what women should and shouldn't do, including number one, voting, etc., yeah, most people would say the country that Pearly runs would be a country that women don't have as much rights. But
I'm sure they would. I was like, maybe we'd agree. I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we say women don't have any rights, I mean, according to whose conception? According to the feministic conception, absolutely. Yeah. They would not be happy with a lot of the norms and the traditions of the Muslim world. Mm-hmm. But we have to be very specific as to what we're asking about. Like if we're asking about women owning property, then surely in Islam, I mean, women were allowed to own property before they were allowed to in many parts of the West. Mm-hmm. That was always a thing that women can do. Mm-hmm. On the issue of voting, I mean, we don't have necessarily votes because democracy is a Western concept. Mm-hmm. But we had something called Pledge of Allegiance, and that was both men and women were allowed to do so. For example, on the issue of whether a woman has a say in the marriage, surely she does have a say in the marriage. Mm-hmm. And in fact, there's a verse in the Quran that says that a woman has as much as the man has in terms of rights, except that the man has 1 degree over her. So the Quran does not embellish the rights of the man as much as the Western man thinks that it does. Mm-hmm. Of course, there is such a thing as obedience, and of course, there's such a thing as gender roles. Of course, there's such a thing as polygamy in Islam, that man can marry multiple wives, and the polygyny, really.
What if she says no to it? What if he says, I want wife number 2, and she says no?
Look, like, no one can force anyone to do anything they don't want to do, especially if she had put that as a stipulation in the contract for marriage.
Then he can't do it?
If she, according to one view, another view says that he can still do it because this is God-given right. But
what's your view?
I take the first view. If she had put it in the contract, he has to follow that.
Okay.
But if she hasn't put it in the contract, then he can
just take the L.
Yeah.
Sorry, just take the L.
Well, for the woman, you're saying.
Well, if she didn't want it, it'd be an L, right?
Yeah, sure, but it's not going to be like that because in practice.
Well, Westerners are in soft polygamy anyway, so that's the thing. It's like, I'm like, guys, you realize that if you have an ex-boyfriend, you're in soft polygamy in a way, or like if you're in a situationship, that's basically polygamy. The women have more rights under Islam.
Yeah,
like in a way.
I agree. No, I agree with that. Look,
but that's why, like, they'll kind of. I'm not for polygamy, so don't misquote.
That's very interesting.
I know. Well, okay.
Really?
How do I put this? I'm not for or against. I think people are gonna do what they're gonna do.
So if you were married and your husband wanted to get a second wife, what would you say?
I'd just rather not.
Okay, no, what if he does it?
I'd say, could we not? Well, I mean, if I have a kid by him, like you gotta stick it out at that. Like, what are you gonna do? Go be a single mom? Like, your life, will it be better?
But you would say to him, you'd rather not. But
yeah, I mean, I think.
What if a man was married and wanted you as a second wife, or a third, or fourth?
I'd rather not. You know, I've had actually somewhat offers like that.
Oh, really?
Okay, I'm okay on that.
From people in the Muslim community.
Yeah, but not. I don't want to. But like,
fair enough.
I mean, I don't know how serious they were.
No, probably like, fully serious because they can marry a Christian woman. They're allowed to.
I don't know. I didn't explore it that far because.
No, but I find that interesting because it seems to me that
I think a lot of Christians are hypocritical.
Maybe you're affected by feminism a little bit here.
Maybe. No, I think Christians are hypocritical.
Go on.
Okay, because the Christians will say the Muslims are so bad because they do the polygamy. You guys can't have polygamy, yada, yada, yada. And okay, maybe one part of me understands where they're coming from. It's kind of weird to me for a guy to have multiple wives. That's odd.
Really?
Wait. But I think it's hypocritical because... I mean, ladies, how many of us were virgins on our wedding days? Like, it's like...
No, in the Muslim community, it's like 90%.
Yeah, well, okay, I'm talking about, like, I'm saying this is why it's hypocritical.
Sure.
How many women have been with a cheating ex-boyfriend? Like, everyone. How many women in the West have shared a man at some point?
See, that stuff doesn't apply to the Muslim community almost at all.
I understand, but I'm saying, like, in the West, it's
I'm with you.
I think it's really hypocritical for them to judge the polygamy so harshly when we are effectively doing the same thing because most women share a man at some point. And even in Christian, because most Christians, like statistically in the West, 3% of women are waiting for a religious reason for marriage. So it's not like even the tradcon women are doing it. Like, I just think it's a bit hypocritical.
Yeah.
That's
let me be clear. Like on the most contentious issues that affect women today in Islam, I would say number one is polygamy, or the man that can have up to 4 wives at one time. A woman cannot do the same. A man can marry a Christian or a Jew, whereas a woman can only marry a Muslim man.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're supposed to, well, even in the Christian point of view, like if you submit, I think it's weird when women don't take their husband's religion. Because it's like if you're supposed to trust him in all things.
Sure, no, we wouldn't go that far. We would say a woman still has to think for herself. I mean, definitely.
Well, yeah, but why would you be with a guy where you don't trust his judgment? That's like
no, but with religion, everyone has to have their own judgment.
Well, yeah, I think you should trust your...
No, I get you. Okay, so the third thing is, obviously on this point, obedience.
Okay.
So you got to obey the husband. Number 4 is inheritance, because there's some disparity in the way that inheritance is distributed. Not always necessarily not favoring the woman, but it's just not 50-50 at all cases. Sometimes actually favors the woman. It depends on the situation. And finally, I would say the 5th most contentious issue is that affects women today. I think that's it. I think these are the 4 big issues,
Are we allowed to, we're not allowed to show our hair, right?
Yeah, okay, the dress code, fair enough. Yeah,
well, different. I would think that's because I've heard, I haven't seen too much of Lauren Southern's old stuff, but she recently did a hit piece on the red pill, so I saw the beginning, and I guess she was very anti-Islam, and I don't know, I wasn't really that politically involved during this time, but she was saying, like, under Sharia law, you have to cover your hair. Is that okay?
For a woman, but there's no punishment if she doesn't do it. Like, it's not. So, like, for example, a woman comes out into a Muslim country and she doesn't have a headscarf on. What's going to happen? Is he going to whip her? Is he going to stone her? There's no such punishment that's prescribed in Islam. Do you know what I mean? So, this is an obligation, but there's no penal punishment that if she doesn't do it, then this is going to happen. These are, I would say, fair enough. These are the 5 things that are you would consider to be, from a feminist perspective, wrong. Obviously, from our perspective, we consider it to be right.